Next up, we'll have Ms. Williams, the President and CEO of Greenwood Chamber of Commerce.
Forward. Okay. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I am so pleased to be with you all this morning. So thank you so much for the invitation. I'm going to go ahead and apologize to Ms. Edwards and Mr. Jones. He was at the back. This is about the third time they have heard me. So, and I think Annette will hear me again tomorrow as well. So we have been going out for the last few weeks. And of course, we'll be going out many more times until Election Day, speaking about this very important project for the residents here in Greenwood County. And so I'm going to move quickly. I have about 20 minutes. I'm going to hopefully take a lot less than that so I can answer any questions that you may have. This is our Yes for Greenwood campaign. This is our capital project sales tax referendum. Many of you all know it as the penny tax. So there are some pennies on the table just as kind of a reminder of what we're able to do with the power of the penny. So I'm going to go through some of the projects on the 2024 ballot, and then I'm going to talk about some of the projects from 2016 that you have seen, and I'll talk about the frequently asked questions as well. And so, of course, as part of our history as a community, it's part of a visionary leadership that we're going to move forward. And a lot of that takes a lot of effort from multiple individuals that we have in the community to move forward. And so we look at the hospital and the changes that have been made there, the Piedmont Technical College campus changes, the Greenwood County Library, which was our 2010 capital project referendum. And so we look at the changes as well in Uptown Greenwood, and all of those changes have been done because we want to move forward and continue to move forward as a community. So we're going to talk a little bit about our 2024 capital project referendum. The capital project referendum is actually a 7-year project. It will actually generate $121 million over the next 7 years. So when we talk about the power of a penny, that is what we're really talking about and how much we can really do with that penny. So as part of the project, we actually formed commissioners as well as committee members. So many of people that you may know have actually served on our committee or the commissioners. Is there anybody here that actually served on the committee or the commissioners this year? No? Okay. But we want to thank these individuals as well. If you see any of these individuals around, please thank them for their time in the service. There were over 40 applications submitted. And so these individuals actually reviewed those 40 applications to get us down to the list that you see in front of you of the 27 projects that we have. And so the first group of projects that I want to talk a little bit about is public safety. Those individuals that are referenced on the committees were formed into 5 different groups. Public safety was one of those areas. And so the county has a fire service master plan. As a part of that fire service master plan, many of our volunteer fire departments were built in the 60s and the 70s. And so they're in desperate need of upgrades. One of the reasons for some of those upgrades, of course, are the new fire trucks that we're purchasing now. They're a lot longer than the buildings were originally built for, and the bays where they drive in are, the trucks are a lot wider than those bays. And so we're in need of the new building so that we can actually house our fire trucks, as well as those of you who may know some firemen, they actually have some bunks there, so they do stay there as well. And so, of course, you can imagine a building that was built in the 60s and the 70s is in desperate need of some upgrades there. And so you will see some of those on your sheet. You'll see the ballot, so those are projects 2 and 17. The other project is a public safety training center. This will actually be a joint training center for EMS and fire as well. Right now, for training our firemen, they have to travel to Columbia for that training. And so one of the things, of course, the comforts of having a training center here in Greenwood is that they don't have to travel to Columbia. It actually saves a lot of time and money by having the training facility here in Greenwood. And so this will be a shared facility where they can actually train here in Greenwood. Also, there's an opportunity for us to actually have our local communities utilize this public training center as well. Some of the other projects under the public safety are a feasibility study for our Greenwood Detention Center, and renovation of the City of Greenwood Fire Station #1, and that is the fire station on South Main. I really encourage you, if you've never toured the fire station there, I would encourage you to actually call the city and schedule a tour just so you can see some of the conditions right now of the fire station. And so this is just one of those projects that will be a great help to our public safety. Next one, economic development. This is a fabulous one as we talk about some of the things as Dr. Brooks mentioned about the future, and she mentioned Communiversity. We'll be there as well at Communiversity on Landers campus. But we have this Piedmont Tech, a career center. Those of you who are very familiar with our education center for the G. Frank Russell Career Center for our high school students, there's a great opportunity for us to partner with Piedmont Tech and actually build a new career center on Piedmont Tech's campus. The great thing about this pairing with District 50, 51, and 52 in Piedmont Tech is that it allows those students in dual enrollment as well to be right there on campus. It helps our public schools as well with transportation. Those of you who know workforce, finding bus drivers is very hard, and so this will actually help streamline some of the bus transportation issues, because right now they're busing kids to the G. Frank Career Center as well as to Piedmont Tech's campus. And so this will also help streamline a lot of those transportation issues as well. It also gives our students the opportunities to take some other courses that are offered at Piedmont Tech that aren't currently offered right now at the Career Center. And so there are also courses at Piedmont Tech that aren't offered on their campus that they can offer through the Career Center. One of those is a culinary arts program. And so, you know, G. Frank Russell has a culinary arts program, but the facilities there at Piedmont Tech, they don't have those facilities. So this will be a wonderful partnership where they could offer some evening classes for the adults who want to go through the culinary arts program as well. This one is a North Greenwood Industrial Park. Those of you who are familiar with the E.A. Sween building, that is considered the North Industrial Park. There's opportunities for us to expand. This is back to kind of the growth of Greenwood, which is attracting businesses here. This project is part of an infrastructure project to build more water and sewer lines so that there's the future to expand the number of buildings there in the North Industrial Park. And there's also the South Industrial Park as well, the same type of structure, building utility upgrades, the infrastructure there to help facilitate new businesses actually moving to Greenwood. Some of the other economic development projects are the upgrades and improvements to the Powell's building. For those of you who are familiar with the museum, it is the building right beside the museum. That will be our new tourism center, Discover Greenwood. So it's an opportunity for Discover Greenwood to have their own space. Right now they're located in the Art Center building, and so they have a little room there in the Art Center. And so this is an opportunity for them to actually utilize their own space. And there's also upgrades to our Chamber of Commerce facilities. We work heavily, of course, in our workforce development and supporting our businesses, which contributes to our economic development. And the last one is the South Greenwood Industrial Park, which I already just mentioned. So our next is our infrastructure, some bridge and repairs. Of course, there's a lot of preparation and reading that we do, and so I was looking at the project submission, and so Greenwood County actually maintains over 326 miles of road and 9 bridges. Those of you who know, I'm going to mention Airport Road. That is not a Greenwood County road or bridge, so that is DOT. And so, but there's opportunities for us to improve from some other bridge repairs that are within our control here in Greenwood County. And so you'll see those bridges there listed. The other infrastructure projects, Town Aware shows wastewater line design and replacement, as well as the 96 wastewater plant replacement. And so those are both having to do with sewer lines and replacement of those things for just maintenance from a CPW standpoint. And there's upgrades to the Park Plaza in the Greenwood County Courthouse. So Park Plaza is where our county administration's housed, and right now the courthouse, you know, has a lot of, I'm going to say, non-courthouse operations there with the tax assessor office and some other things. And so this is an opportunity to help streamline some of the operations and the setup and where those individuals are placed. And the last one is relocation of utilities along Highway 246. And so this is just some of the water lines and utility connections. This allows, once again, for the expansion of housing developments as well as other infrastructure projects for some economic development where businesses can actually move there. Quality of life, and so renovations to our Federal Center and Arts Center building. The building, I believe, is over 100 years old, about 125, I think. And so, of course, you know, a building that age has some major needs and repairs. And so some of the upgrades there will be to the roof and some other exterior structures just to help maintain the life of the building. The quality of life, Jeff May, recreation and lighting. I know many of you probably utilize the track there at the Jeff May complex, and so you know, it's a nice rubberized track, and I believe it may be the only public track that's a rubberized track available. And so there's some upgrades there with some lighting, especially on the backside, as well as some of those security posts that you see throughout. And so we believe that that will be a great a benefit for our quality life and the residents to have that track upgraded. Renovations and improvements to the 96 Railroad Depot, the same thing, you know, the older buildings need a lot of exterior work and just upkeep and maintenance, and so this is included in the quality of life projects. Some of the other quality of life is our Greenwood Community Theater, which is right there on Main Street beside the Art Center. Same, the renovations to the roof and some of the exterior, interior electrical as well, upgrades. The Phoenix Community School renovations as well. Much older buildings, some upgrades are definitely needed to the exterior and interior. And a comprehensive plan for the 96 Mill Village stormwater issues. And so you'll see a lot of infrastructure projects in there that are really for the long-term benefit of Greenwood. I say some of those aren't the sexy projects that you can just ride by and see, but they are much needed and benefit the residents of Greenwood County overall. Parks and Rec. This is the big one for those of you who've been in Greenwood a long time, the Civic Center. The indoor recreational facility. We are getting a new facility, basketball courts, indoor basketball courts and volleyball. And right now you've seen a lot of the pickleball courts, the tennis courts, football fields, baseball fields right now are under construction. And so that is actually the result of the 2016 capital project sales tax. So this is really just a continuation of the great work that has already been done at the facility there. Ware Shoals Amphitheater facility upgrade, so a great addition there to have that amphitheater there in Ware Shoals. And other parks and improvements. Also in 2016, there were several $1 million that were put towards parks, and one of those parks is the Foundry Park in South Greenwood that was just opened up recently. And so we're continuing those efforts to make sure we're investing in our parks and recreation. And so we have more upgrades to West Cambridge Park and Gray Street. Once again, some of these projects started in 2016 due to the result of the capital projects. And then there are still some more upgrades to the Greenwood County Recreation Complex. There are Ware Shoals, Young Park, the Larry Trainum Center, J.C. Boozer Park, and the Will Banks Park. So there's still some upgrades with the Will Banks with the farmers market there. So that's still included. This slide is a recap of all of the 27 projects and kind of where they're located and scattered throughout Greenwood County. And so you see we've hit the 96 and Ware Shoals in different areas in Greenwood because this is to support the residents of Greenwood County. And so we want to make sure as well that the projects were really representative of those areas around Greenwood. So we want to keep working together, and of course this is one of the ways that we work together is to talk about the Yes for Greenwood project and moving forward. So to just tell you a little bit about the 2016 projects. As of July, that penny, the power of a penny, has raised over $77 million. Of that $77 million, $44 million has already been spent towards the projects, and all 27 of the 2016 projects are all underway. As you all know, 2020 happened, and COVID paused a lot of the movement that we were really seeing. And so with inflation, a lot of the projects had to go back to the drawing board. And I'll talk a little bit about kind of the rationale behind maybe some of those project starts in a minute. And so I already mentioned the Piedmont Tech, the manufacturing center on the campus, the Odell Center there. That has been a great help to our manufacturers such as EA Sween and Teijin. So they have the ability to actually place a lot of their equipment in those facilities so that they can actually train workers before their facility is even ready to begin. And so that's a great start. So there's a little less lag time in getting the employees there and starting. And so we talked a little bit about the parks in Hodges, Troy, and 96 from 2016, and they began work on the Foundry Park, which is complete Magnolia, Gray Street, and the bike and pedestrian trails. From a county standpoint, in city, there's a public safety radio system that is now combined with the city and the county that has been completed. And we still, of course, will collect funds until April 30th of 2025 for this 2016 project. So what you need to know about the new initiative, the referendum will be on the ballot November the 5th. Of course, as you mentioned, there's the early voting or absentee voting as well that you can do. If it passes, it will begin May 1st, 2025. So we would love for your help in dispelling that this is not a tax on top of the penny, that the current 2016 tax will expire April 30th, 2024. So this is not a tax on top of the penny. And so this is just really a continuation of all the great work that we started in 2016. And as I mentioned, this 2024 will generate over $121 million over the next 7 years. And those estimates come from the Department of Revenue. And so for more information, you can visit our website. Yes, for Greenwood, I will have some magnets and some of these pins on the back table as you leave. We also have some yard signs as well. If you can place those in your yard, that would be a great help. And so now it's time to come together as a community to say yes for Greenwood County. And of course, we would love for you to vote. And I'm going to spend a little time on the sheets that are on your table. It's this sheet, which is your frequently asked questions sheet. I've mentioned a lot of the things on this sheet already. A couple of things that I just want to draw your attention to is who will pay for this tax. There was a study commissioned by Greenwood County, by Clemson University, and it's 38 to 41% will be paid by out-of-state residents, okay? And so that is the great thing about this, is that it's paid by out-of-state residents. Many of the projects that you saw, those are projects that we really need. And so by passing the capital project sales tax, this gives us an opportunity to have others who drive into our communities every day to help pay for that. The other option is, of course, an increase in property taxes to help pay for many of these things. So this is a really county council and the city have really looked at this and really feel that this is the best way to move forward with many of these projects. And the last thing that I'm going to mention is at the bottom of there. If you vote a straight ticket, Democrat or Republican ticket, you do not actually go straight to this question. You will go back to the home screen where you will actually have to select this question, because this is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. And so please be mindful of that when you vote, that you just need to take a moment just to look at your main home screen and look for the capital project sales tax referendum. And there's also a copy of the referendum on the table that lists all 27 projects. They are in order with the funding for each of those projects, which cannot be changed once it's voted on. County council has already approved that referendum. So that order and the amount of money allocated is actually set in stone. So I encourage you all to vote yes. If there's an opportunity for me to speak to any other groups that you may be a member of, we will gladly do that as well. Do I have time for questions, or you just want me to stay away? Okay. Okay, well, I'll be around until the end of the meeting, so if you have any questions that you just want to ask, I'll be around and you can ask, and I just, once again, thank you so much for the opportunity.